What do you think are proper expectations for this spring?
I think the most important thing is health, right? My number one expectation is it's a win this spring if there's no catastrophic injuries.
I
And
agree.
I think that's the number one thing that you got to look out for in these. I'm not sure when you're looking at Notre Dame's coming into this season. I don't know. For my expectations for it is I'm not expecting any real answers. Is I think the biggest thing for me when it comes to the spring. And if I was going into the spring and I was saying to myself, the quarterback position needs to be figured out by the end of spring, I don't think that that's a proper expectation. It might end up that way, but I don't think that that's a proper expectation. I think the battle can, in um, some ways, carry into the fall. And then the offensive line position too. And, you know, Notre Dame's offensive line. I mean, the guys that are going to start in the blue gold game, I don't know if they've decided their format yet, if they're doing the draft again. But we know that whoever starts the starting five in the Miami opener is not going to be the starting five come the playoff. I mean, that's a guarantee. I put money down on that. So as far as setting proper spring expectations goes, I think that you just need to make sure that when you're looking at the spring that it's just bonus football, and that you watch these state-run media clips that come from Notre Dame of all of the highlight packages, and you just have fun and just remember that they're going to sort a lot of this stuff out. A lot of guys got a lot of run that they would not have otherwise had with a season that went a month longer. And I just think that as a fan base, the proper at least for me, and maybe you agree, maybe you don't, but I think that you should look at the spring football as being like something fun as opposed to getting definitive answers. What do you think of that?
I actually agree. I think it would be nice to have some answers. And I think we just will simply, it's just an inevitable thing whenever these players practice for a month that we're just going to know, we're going to know more regardless. But I think, like you mentioned, I think it's okay that we don't have the answers to everything, or that we don't really have definitive answers to anything. It is bonus football, and I do agree with you. There's just too many, especially in this specific year, there's just too many things that are hindering this Notre Dame program from figuring everything out. You're missing Malachi Fields and Will Pauling, your top two outside guys at receiver. That is something that not only, like as you mentioned, gives the opportunity to some of the other young receivers to have run, but it kind of does hurt a little bit the evaluation for potentially maybe the three quarterbacks that we have. We are having the first quarterback battle that we have experienced in a minute here, and it would be nice to figure that out, but we don't really have the means to really have a definitive answer, I think. And I think it's like that across the board. There were 9 scholarship players at the beginning of spring that were not participating because they were recovering from surgeries. That's a pretty fair number, I'd say. And I don't know what it is across the board for other programs, but when that's the case, we're going to talk about the individual position groups. So I'm just touching on all of them right now in this one answer. But like when we have those guys out with surgery recoveries, we have a quarterback battle with 3 guys, not just 2, 3. We're missing 2 guys at the receiver position, and then we're trying all these different combinations at offensive line, and we're still trying to figure out. I'm not even talking about the defense, right? I think you have to end up just looking at this as it's nice that we're playing football, because that's still honestly more than a lot of people could say. We're going to know more just inevitably, but yeah, definitive answers, I think it's almost impossible.